Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk about real estate comparables, including why they are important to understand and how to actually evaluate them. This is relevant at every level, whether you're an investor, an agent, a first-time buyer, or you're looking to sell your property after some time. It is critical to understand what the price of the asset you're going to buy or the one in your possession is actually worth. And today I'm going to walk you through this in a very few easy steps. In case you're new to the channel, my name is Ariel Herrera with the AnalyticsAriel channel, where we bridge the gap between real estate and technology. Now, I am going to show some actual walkthroughs and code solutions down the line in a different video, but please watch this first so you have a great understanding of what comparables are. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel, as well like our content on social media. All right, let's get started. So as I was doing research to have the best way to talk about comparables, I actually stumbled upon this really great blog that Zillow posted called Real Estate Comps: How to Find Comparables for Real Estate that has everything detailed right here. So I'm actually going to go through this blog in some more detail. So what are comparables to begin with? So comparables help sellers and their agents identify an accurate listing price for a home. So for example, say aside from real estate, if I was trying to sell my vehicle, Toyota Camry, and I need to understand what price to sell it at. I don't want to sell it too high where it sits on, say, Facebook Marketplace for 30 plus days because I'm looking to get rid of this car fast. And second, I don't want to price it too low where I left money on a table that wouldn't be good for my business. So using comparables of other vehicles that recently sold that are Toyota Camrys, I'd be able to get better assessment as to what this car is worth, it being 3 years, it having so much mileage, and the condition of it, if it was in good condition or not. So this is similar to real estate, except real estate is very different in the sense that it's so localized. Houses that may be in a certain block, maybe a certain street, may have completely different value than properties that are several streets away based on what's around it and the quality. So this is going to help us just to get an idea of why these comparables are important and what to look at. So there's 4 main people that in this blog are described to use comparables. Sellers, as I just described in a little bit of detail using the car example. Sellers for real estate will look to see what to price their property at where buyers will immediately look to put offers on it and be interested in it. Then buyers use it to see how much do they actually offer on the property. Maybe this property is 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and it's listed at $300,000, which all depends on the market, right? So if that's, say, in Tampa where I'm at, if this house isn't that new, it's actually not that good of a deal. So as a buyer, I'd want to look to see, well, property similar to this, what do they sell for, and what should my offer actually be? Then appraisers use real estate comps because they're the ones actually lending the money, and they want to make sure that in case the borrower were to default, so the borrower can't pay their mortgage, that they can then sell this property for an amount that they can recoup their losses. Then real estate agents use comps as well in order to decide what the listing price should be, so similar to how sellers are using it. And there's several ways you could find real estate comps. There's programmatic ways using APIs, but for simplicity for this sake, I'm going to walk you through in the next video how Zillow's pricing tool is a really easy way to get started at looking at comps on your own. That way you're not just reliant on your agent or hiring an appraiser. So what to look at is critical. So we want to look at the location of the property. So let's say in this example that we're looking to sell, or actually looking to buy a property. And we want to make sure that we're putting the right type of offer price on the table. Now, it's really important to look really closely to the property that we're looking to buy. And as I said before, a reason could be that with only several blocks, one block may have a lot of restaurants, maybe bars, could be a supermarket, and that has higher value for the walkability, whereas houses farther away may not. So it's really important to look at houses that are close, as well as a time frame. So right now we're in a very, very hot seller's market, and houses that sold a year ago may not be relevant anymore because of how hot the market is. So it's really good to look at the past 3 to 6 months. The sooner and closer, the better. Then for size, we want to stay within 300 square feet of the home size. If we're trying to evaluate a property that, again, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, that's 1,700 square feet, and we have a comparable, we think it could be a comparable, but it's 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,200 square feet. That's a completely different type of house. It's bigger, may have 2 floors, so we want to try to keep it in the same range. And that goes with the bedrooms and bathrooms, as well as the condition of the home. So say if you find a comparable property, it's sold in the last 30 days, it's across the street from the house that you're planning to purchase, but it was recently redone, like immaculate finishes, it has quartz countertops, and the one you're trying to buy has granite that's been broken and definitely needs a lot more work. So you can't just offer the same exact price as the other one because the other one is in a lot better of condition. So this is when you actually have to dive into photos to see what those recently sold properties, how they look and comparable to the one that you're trying to make an offer on. Then that goes just in terms with the age of the home. So maybe both of the photos look exactly the same, but the one that recently sold has a brand new roof, and the property you're trying to buy is, say, 20 years old, and you know that roof is going to be either worn out or it needs to be replaced soon. There may be some difference in the valuation there. As well as nearby features. So we talked a little bit about this, walkability, the shops that are around it. Public transportation could be a major one, depending on the location. So I know especially up north, where I'm originally from in Jersey, being close to bus stations, to train stations is completely different. So when I was in South Amboy, it was literally a 2-minute walk to the train station. Whereas if you're another part of South Amboy, it could be a 20-minute walk or even a drive. And that really makes a difference in what the property is worth. And then lastly, you can get more of an idea of what the property is worth based on price per square foot to identify comparables. So when we're actually looking at these comps, there are several things we're going to do, which is, one, looking at only sold homes. So one of the misconceptions that sometimes happens is, oh, I see the person across the street is putting their house up for $350,000, and I thought my house was worth $300,000. Great, I have $50,000 more worth in my property than I thought. Not the case, because the property didn't actually sell yet. So maybe after negotiations happen, this property actually sells for $310,000. Who knows? So you can only look at after the homes have been bought, once the seller and the buyer have come to an agreement on a price. Pay attention to the type of home. So single family is very different from a townhouse. Townhouse may have HOA fees, other regulations. Single family home may have its own backyard. It doesn't really has a fence, and you don't see your neighbors at all. So as well, look closely at photos. We talked about this to up here to make sure that the conditions of the homes are similar. And if they're not, we'll account for that. Sometimes the photos only say so much. It is good to try to read the listing description itself. This is especially where I'll notice that the roof parts are talked about. So it'll say brand new roof or any of the other major appliances. See it in person if you can. If not, I think that's okay. You could always find someone on the ground that can look at some of these comparables for you if you want to take it to that level. But also just using Google Maps, if it's recent, throwing the little man on the street and then getting the view there is another great way to do it. And you know what, I'll just go and look at an example right now for that. Okay, so right now I'm on Google Maps. Just want to show you a quick example. if you don't have the availability to go drive out and look at the comparables, which I don't know who really has the time to do that, you can also just go on Google Maps, the little man on the corner, you could throw him anywhere, which I love. So say if this was the house we were looking at as a comparable, we could see a little bit more maybe that was in the photos. We can see there's some sidewalk here. The sidewalk looks to be in okay condition. And if we look around, we could see, all right, it's a pretty fine looking neighborhood. There's nothing too glaring. However, I mean, the grass over here is kind of beat up. There is a bike there, so I know someone probably lives there. But something that could be a sign is, say if this house is actually abandoned and it's right across the street from this one may have some type of lower value and something that you can't account for in pictures of just this property by itself, but you can account for when you throw this little man out there. But please, with a disclaimer, at the bottom it does say this image was captured March 2019, and it is 2021 as of this video, so some of this may not be as relevant. So we scan the area, we want to write these things down when we take our notes of how these comparable properties are to the one that we're looking to buy or to sell. And there's a lot of resources out there. I'm actually looking to create a Google Sheets to do this as well. So stay tuned for that. And then based off of this, you could formulate your price. So what does that look like? I have an example of an appraisal, yeah, right here. An appraisal for a bank loan, and they're looking at comparables. I know this is not beautiful to look at in any sense, but when they talk about here how to formulate your price and writing things down, some of what that means is actually adding values to the comparable properties or subtracting. I know it's a little bit hard to read, but if you look at the very top, we have the subject property, the property that we're, in a sense, I guess, looking to buy. Then we have 3 comparable properties. Their addresses. We also have the sales price for what they sold for. And then we have 2 columns here, the description of what the value adjustments that we're going to make, and then what we're adjusting. So I'm just going to skip down to, say, the condition down here. So the property that we're looking to buy is in good condition. So not great, not average, but good. Now the property comparable number 1 on the right of it is in average to good condition. So maybe the grass is a little bit better. The rugs aren't as beat up. The kitchen cabinets still retain a lot of their paint. So it's a little bit of a better property, and in that sense, the person here, the appraiser, has actually added $15,000 to what the adjusted sales price of the comparable. This is something that we'll do down the line. And if we skip over to comparable number 3, it's not even on the good list. It's actually average, which is higher than the actual subject property. So in this case, it's added $30,000 to the comparable price for this property. And that's just an example of what they mean by formulating prices. There's also the Zillow's Zestimate. There's several sites that have their own equivalent of Zestimate, which is basically an algorithm that pulls this data automatically and then evaluates what the comparable should be. I would say that these values have gotten a lot better than they were in the past, but they're not always 100% accurate because there's that variability there of, like I just showed you, a property that can maybe have a foreclosure or an abandoned house or a warehouse right in front of it. I'm not sure if the algorithm is taking that into account, so it's something that you should use, but with caution. They say other ways you could do is hire an appraiser, which the work it takes to do this doesn't take the amount that you would spend. So I think looking at comparables, you could probably get through it within an hour, hour and a half, and you don't need to hire someone to do that. So yeah, that's it. In the next video, we're actually going to detail using Zillow's tool for pricing your home, what those comparables look like, and how to actually go through them. Again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel so that you can be up to date with the latest content, and thanks again for watching.